Purdue is the best team in college basketball, T.O. Overreaction, underreaction, proper reaction? What do you think?
I'm overreaction. Right now, they're playing as well as anybody. I'll throw it that way. I really like Texas. I still think Houston's really, really good. I love Virginia too. The Purdue has somebody nobody else does, and Zach Edey. That's a huge thing. But as of right now, I think Purdue is playing as well as anybody. I'm not sure they're the best team in the country, even though they had a terrific performance. I really like Purdue. I love it's just college basketball is good this year, and they still have to be consistent from the perimeter consistently. If they can do that, there's not a lot of teams that can guard them, and they all fit together really, really well. The puzzle pieces fit. And when the puzzle pieces fit like that, if guys are willing to play together, it's going to look really good early. Are they going to be the best team in the country in 2 months? I don't know. As of right now, I think it could definitely be said that they're playing as well as anybody.
The Purdue Boilermakers deserve to be ranked in the top 3 of the AP Top 25.
I agree with that.
On this Monday. It is an overreaction to say that they are the best team in college basketball, but they have played the best basketball, and they just completed 2 games in which they outscored Gonzaga and Duke by a combined 159 to 122. They commanded both the Zags and the Blue Devils.
I got a stat for you, Fanta. They are the first.
And they held Duke.
Well, how about this? They are the first team to win back-to-back games against top 10 teams by more than 18 points since 1968 UCLA, before Kareem Abdul-Jabbar changed his name from Lou Alcindor. That's how long ago it was.
What makes me more bullish on Purdue than if you asked me about another Purdue team being the best in college basketball is I could say that's an overreaction, Rob, because they don't play defense. That is not true right now. This team is invested on the defensive end of the floor. And how could you not be when you have a 7'4" monster inside? You've got freshmen who have surprised all of us. Between Braden Smith and Fletcher Lawyer, what they've been able to do, they've exceeded my expectations. They fit right in. And guys, Ethan Morton is one of the most efficient guards in America right now. He's at 31 assists on the year to 7 turnovers. I think the only line that's even comparable to that at this point is Ryan Nembhard over at Creighton is right around there. Morton is making plays for other people. He's dishing the basketball extremely well. But this shouldn't come off as that much of a surprise. And the reason for it is Matt Painter could have any guards walk in and be able to develop, be able to hone in on them. Now you give Matt Painter a big man in Edey who's only gotten better. Here's the thing. It's a slight overreaction that Purdue is the best team in college basketball because honestly, Rob, I don't know who the best team in college basketball is, but I know Purdue's playing as well as anybody. Here's what's not an overreaction. At this moment, Zach Edey is the most impactful player in college basketball.
Yeah, you could build everything around him. What Purdue is so good at and what Matt Painter is so good at is getting guys to buy into the specific job that they're supposed to be doing and having people understand exactly what that job is. That's not an easy thing to do when everyone has a certain level of expectation, but I think he does a very good job identifying personalities, right? Identifying guys that aren't going to be me first, identifying guys that are going to be worried about Purdue winning more than how many shots I get and how many points I get. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to do when you're recruiting 16, 17, 18-year-old kids. You know, you're kind of playing armchair psychologist for what a child is going to be when they turn into an adult. So it's pretty impressive what he's been able to do with that. I think that they are right up there with the best teams in America. I think you guys are exactly right. I would not be shocked if they ended up being ranked number 1 in the country at some point. They were ranked number 1 in the country at one point last season. So, T.O.
Right. Yeah.
Are they better than last year's team, the one that had Jaden Ivey, the one that had Trevion Williams? Is that is that an overreaction? Is that something where you're like, nah, no, come on, man. What are you doing, Rob? What are you talking
I don't. Here's the thing. Like, this team has the ability to improve because they're playing 3 freshmen significant minutes. Lawyer Smith and Kaufman Wren, like, they're both getting all 3 of those guys are getting a lot of minutes. Those guys are going to continue to improve. This team doesn't have that go-to factor like Jaden Ivey was last year. And I know he struggled whenever they got beat in the tournament, but like, he gave them a different level of, hey, we need something right now. Yes. Who can get us something without needing it fed in there. So I think that's the biggest difference between that team and this team. The Travion Williams thing is interesting to me because sometimes I felt like he and Zach Edey were both really, really top 10 5-men in college basketball, but they kind of conflicted with each other's games. This year, there's only one of them, and you see the result of it because Zach Edey has been so good. Like, he's just getting more minutes. He's being featured more, and he's getting comfortable in his role. His numbers are absurd. Every game that they've had this year, he's been the MVP, according to KenPom. Mm-hmm. Every game. And a lot of that just has to do with, I think he probably could have done that last year, but he was splitting minutes. So now they know how to play around him. He's the guy in there, so that you get to be a little bit more stable in what you do offensively. They don't have that spark plug and that go get you one guy like they had with Jaden Ivey. I think that's the biggest difference.
Yeah, but they also, I think they're guarding better this year than they did last year.
They are. And there's more of an emphasis. Yeah, and you have to. When you're not as talented, you better guard. Mm-hmm. I would say this Purdue team isn't quite as talented as last year. Jaden Ivey was a top 5 pick in the NBA draft. So, like, I'm not talking out of turn here. But, like, you have to do all the other things well. Ball movement has to be crisp, all that stuff. And this team's doing that. And they're going to continue to do that. And I think they'll only get better. They're not as talented this year, but they're playing better together this year, and they're going to improve.
Yep. Fanta, you said that you think Purdue is like a clear-cut top 3 team. Who are the 2 teams that you would rank above them?
Yes. Houston is still my number 1 because I'm being stubborn, even though they didn't play like it against Kent State, but I really do believe in the Cougars.
I'm willing to chalk that up to playing on a Saturday, 2 days after Thanksgiving, when you're not in an MTE, probably in what was an empty for what is it, the Fertitta Center, Fertitta.
Yeah.
Fertitta.
Sounds like a breakfast quiche. That's what it sounds like.
It does. That's the guy who runs the UFC, right?
Yes,
Lorenzo Fertitta.
Yeah. They've got money pouring in there. Fertittas in Houston. Number 2 in my Fox Sports poll, shameless plug on this fine Monday. Number 2 is a team that I believe possesses the best front court 1-2 punch in the country thus far this season. The Arizona Wildcats are number 2